Well, folks, welcome back. This thing is an absolute champ, this truck. It's got like 160,000 miles on it, and it has been used and abused its whole life. And cosmetically, it you can tell, that's for sure. So this truck has a 9'2" Boss V-blade plow hooked up to it for its whole life, beating and smashing over cell tower roads, my cottage road, my camp road, all that. It's been all over the Maritimes. A ton of miles on this thing. I hauled a trailer out to Manitoba in the winter with this thing, and it has never let me down at all. I honestly recently just put the first set of brakes on this thing. Like, I think they replaced a couple rotors. I don't even think the calipers needed to be replaced. I can't remember, but it wasn't much. It just went through an inspection. No front end parts on this thing whatsoever. No ball joints, wheel bearings, nothing wrong with the rear end ever. No, universal joints, like absolutely nothing. Transmission is still as solid as can be. The only thing that had to be done to this truck was the muffler delete, which I did months ago. I don't even know how many months ago it was. I'll have to look back at my videos and figure out how long ago. But the point of this video is, would I do it again? The truck needed it to be fixed, so either replace the parts or delete the parts, or get rid of the truck and make it someone else's problem. And there was no way I was getting rid of this truck with how well this truck has treated me. So how do I like it? Well, honestly, I would not want to go back to having that stuff back on the truck. Like I said, it's been used. There's one mud flap left on it. Heck of a truck. Like, I couldn't be happier with this truck. Could not be happier. I'd rather have this truck than have one of the new ones, with the way it's set up right now, with the 6-speed and the changes that have been made to it. But no negative points whatsoever about the muffler delete on this truck. Better power, better fuel mileage, better engine braking, better transmission tuning, everything, absolutely everything. There's no negative. I don't gotta mess around with DEF fluid, which is now almost $40 a jug here in Nova Scotia. Fuel savings, like I used to get I'd be lucky if I ever seen 14 liters per 100 in the 14s with this truck, with 35s. Consistently in the 15s to 16 liters per 100 with this truck. Now, if I'm on the highway, I'm getting anywhere between 10 and 12. That's huge. You factor in over a year, 2 years between the DEF fluid and the fuel savings, and it pays for itself. And then these trucks last so much longer without that crap on there. This truck here eventually might get the same treatment, but if I do this truck, chances are I'll also do the turbo, because these 550s, they derate these trucks, and in order to get the same performance out of this truck that you get out of that truck, you got to change the turbo. I believe this one doesn't have the wastegate. This one has a wastegate. It's a different turbo. Same engine, same transmission. So some tuning and a turbo. And this truck could work just as good as that truck, which is phenomenal. Phenomenal. But hey, let's go for a drive, show you how it responds, show you the fuel mileage, all that stuff. All right, so first things first, before we start doing the mileage, let's have a little bit of fun. So this is just a single tow tune. No switch on the fly, nothing crazy. It's a 40 or 50 horsepower tune. Probably translates to, you know, maybe 80 to 90 foot-pounds of torque gain. But man, it's awesome. I don't know the name of the tunes. I know it's Easy Link, but I don't know the name of the tunes, like who wrote the tunes. The guy that I had this, the shop I had this done by, I definitely really trust them for sure. They're wicked at this stuff, so no concerns with it. I just don't know exactly what the tunes are, so I can't tell you. But as far as the engine brake with the tow haul and a trailer, the engine brake before, you know, these Fords, ugh, it did a little bit, but now the engine brake with the transmission tuning when you're hauling a trailer is like right there with my Rams, like right there. And then the power is leaps and bounds above what the Cummins is. That's for sure. The biggest advantage the Cummins had on this truck, this Powerstroke, was the engine brake. And now with the changes, it's really, really, really close to the Cummins. So I got a couple stops to make in town. I'm gonna reset my mileage, and we'll just do a complete trip of, you know, starting, stopping, idling. We'll probably grab a coffee at some point, maybe a bite to eat, all that stuff, and then I'll get some data or some results with just driving, and we'll see. But like right now, where I just reset that, I'm getting 8.6 liters per 100. I mean, I just reset it. I haven't even driven a kilometer yet, but I would not be getting that before, I can tell you. All right, well, I just looked back through my videos, and it seems like it's been 6 months since I did this, and I think I've got like 25 or 30,000 kilometers on the truck since then. So, you know, a good test, that's for sure. So far, since I reset my trip, including 2 stops in town and then obviously a bunch of idling, I'm at 11.9 liters per 100, and then when I got on the highway, I reset it, and I'm getting 10.7 so far. 10.7 liters per 100. Don't know how accurate this is. Obviously, you'd have to do pump-to-pump calculation, but comparing to it was before, that wouldn't have changed. So before, like I said, if I was in the 14s, I was doing really good, but typically I was in the 15 and 16s. So, you know, you're talking, let's just be generous, and let's say 4.5 to 5 liters per 100 different. So over, with the price of fuel right now being 202, over 100 kilometers, you're saving, what is that, like 20 bucks over 100 kilometers? 5 liters in the difference. $10, I think. I can't think right now. I don't know what's going on with my brain, but I can't think like right now. What is that? Is that 10 bucks? Like 10 bucks? I'll have to think about this later. I'll actually do like a cost savings maybe over, let's say, 10,000 kilometers with, you know, DEF fluid and the fuel mileage gains. But that's what I'm getting right now. Got a pretty good drive here, so let's see. Let's just see how much better it actually is. So that is what I estimated that I've saved on fuel so far, just doing some quick math. How I came up with that is, right now diesel's at $2.02 per liter, let's say. So over 100 kilometers, it was $8.80 or 808, and then times by 100 to be at 1,000 kilometers, and then times by and then times by 10 to be at 1,000 kilometers, and then times by 10 to be at 10,000 kilometers, and then times 2.5 to be at 25,000 kilometers, and that's the number. So that's at 4 liters per 100 in the difference, and it's actually more than that, but I just, you know, I was being modest with it. And it also is probably more than that because diesel has gone down. Diesel was quite a bit higher than that for the duration, you know, the last 6 months since I've done this. So I've basically already paid. It's paid for itself already in 6 months. That's pretty crazy. So here we are, back to the cottage. So my total trip was 230.6 kilometers, 11 liters per 100, 3 hours and 2 minutes. My driving, let's call it, highway, whatever, was 10.8 liters per 100, 208.8 kilometers. 10.8. Like, that is insane. That's insane. So the truck, so the money that I was forced to put in to the truck, you know, whether I repaired what was wrong or did what I did, it's already paid for. So in that dollar amount that I showed you earlier, jugs of DEF fluid were not in there. So over 25,000 kilometers, you know, what's that, 15,000 miles, something. How much, you know, how many jugs of DEF would you have gone through times by, let's just say 35? So that adds up. And then the cost of fuel, like I said, the fuel is cheaper now than what it was then when I first did this, and then for the previous 6 months. So this thing has already paid for itself. In 6 months, that work has been covered in the fuel savings, operation costs, or daily costs, whatever you want to call it. So it's pretty wild. But anyway, folks, yeah, if you're on the cusp, or you're on the edge, or whatever, of doing this to your truck, this probably helps your decision. I wouldn't, you know, I wouldn't go out and buy a brand new truck, me personally. I wouldn't go out and buy a brand new truck and then do this. I would probably wait until I needed to do it. But now that I've done it, I'm definitely not worried about it or concerned about it, because it just it's so much better in every single way. Obviously some places you can't do it. Anyway, but I love this truck. I always did love this truck, but now I love it. Like, love it. But anyway, folks, that's gonna do it. I hope you enjoyed it. Until next time, take care, stay safe, and we'll see you then. Bye.